What's up, guys? Hey, everybody, it's Clayton Merwin, aka the Hero Maker. Pardon me. Alright, so today I want to take a little time. Some of you may find it boring, some of you may find it interesting, but I just wanted to take a little bit of time and show you all some cover artwork and some uh, interior illustrations that I have done over the years. Um, basically my published work. So I'm going to take a step through and talk a little bit about everything and do that. First of all, let me get some things out of the way. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, whatever you say. I wish you the great and most joyous holiday season that you could possibly have. All right. And so, and on my medical issue, my shoulder is, still quite a bit of ways from being where I need to be. But I am able to lift it, some, and I can get it about there. I can move this part fine. that don't bother me. It's the shoulder that was operated on. So I can't do any of this or, punch, bump, bump. But so I'm coming along and I'm out of the brace. I can draw a little bit, but I can't spend a lot of time doing it because it starts bothering my arm. So it's still really, really sore on the incision marks where they, like right here and then in the back. But other than that, I'm doing okay. For a 60-year-old get who looks like Santa Claus, but in a Batman hat and shirt. But anyway, that being said and done. All right, so we're going to get right to it. I'm in my studio, as you can see, all my Batman stuff behind me and this, that, and the other, my little Christmas tree right there. But anyway, so here we are. Today, I want to take you through some of the stuff that I have done. All right, so we're going to start out first with the very first publication that I ever did on a professional basis. And this, believe it or not, that I actually was actually to get published for. Now, the first thing I ever did was, it's kind of sad, but it was done in 2006. Now, I'm 60 years old, so that's, in 2006, you figure it out. But I did I was approached by a gentleman by the name of Timothy Swift. Timothy was a young lad that had aspirations of being a comic book publisher, a comic book writer. And so he produced, he had a company he called Red Zone Comics. Asked me if I'd be interested in working on a story that he had called Mindhunter Omega. And I said, sure, no problem. Let's see what we can do with it. So we did. And I actually got involved with it. I went in and I did some of the writing to edit it. I kind of acted like an editor as well because some of the writing, because he was young, needed a little bit more flow. But that being said and done, I did help with some of the writing, but he wrote it. It's his publication, and the illustrations that I came up with were something that, he wanted me to do. So, but that book is here. I don't know, you might still be able to get it. It doesn't sell for a whole lot. It's really sad artwork. I was, it was my first published piece, published art. I did the cover. It was a sad cover. Tried to do something where I went from the drawing to the colors, and it just didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But anyway, looking back on it now compared to what I do now. But back then, hey, I thought it was pretty good. That's the interior, some of the artwork. And like I said, I think you could still get some of these online. I'm not sure. You type it in and see what you get if you're interested. But it's the actual very first publication that I ever did. All right, my first published piece of work. And I did the full design for everything. All the layouts, all the artwork and stuff on the layouts and stuff. But that being said and done, well then I was contacted by a financial magazine, believe it or not. And they wanted to, it was called Marine Money Magazine, and they wanted to take and do, it was when comics were like really, really popular, and they wanted, and a lot of publications and companies were doing the comic books thing. Scenes were covers and stuff like that were doing. So they wanted to produce a comic book cover for their publication. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to pull this off, and I was perusing and stuff like that. Well, anyway, a friend of mine, Andy Smith, I came across a piece that he had done. So his piece was an inspiration for what I did, as far as the actual character. And I appreciate that, Andy, and I give you kudos for coming up with that and helping to inspire me to do what I did. But anyway, so that book, that was, like I said, it was called Marine Money Magazine. It was a magazine, and basically what they do is it's about financials for yachts and boats and all good graphs and this, that, and the other. Not really, something I'm really into, but hey, they wanted to pay me, so what I did, and here it is. This is Marine Money Magazine, volume 25, issue number 1, January of 2009. And that came out, and I designed the whole cover, and this up here, all this was designed by me. And it, like I said, I tried to make it, don't panic, but like I said, Andy's character design that he did inspired me to do the character that I did. And then I have all the characters in here at the bottom, and then financial graphs and Baltic bottoms out, shipping on the docks, banks shut down, shipping market sinks, dry cargo dries up, Hamburg, Singapore, London, New York, Oslo, and Prius. So these are all the places that this magazine reaches. So it was an international magazine. So I was really happy to get that, and so that was and I still have this, and this was the first paid published work that I received. Well, the second paid published work. 900 Mega was the first. So there you go. And that I was real happy with the way the cover turned out. I do appreciate that. So those are the first two items that I was approached by somebody to do. So over the years, I've had more stuff, and I've put myself out there more, to do covers. I try to, because of my jobs and time, I don't really have time to do interior book work, because I can do spot illustrations, but to sit there and, do storyboarding and tell a whole story through a comic, I really don't have the time for that because of my full-time jobs. Now, right now, I could do it, but unfortunately, I can't draw properly. I could do it because I'm not working. Unfortunately, they fired me. But, anyway, that's another story. But, so I've been gearing toward more of spot illustration and cover work. So that's what I've been trying to do. And so, I've been somewhat successful at it, and I've done quite a few bits. So I actually stopped in and contacted, who was it? Brian K. Morris. And I went on his site, and he's another author, fantastic author, great guy, fun guy. I really owe him a lot, and he says he's a fantastic guy. He promoted my work. He helped me get out there, and then he actually introduced me to Charles F. Millhouse, who's an author. Charles produces a series of books, but his most notable one is Captain Hawkland. And Captain Hawkland is a pulp-style adventurer who, has these great adventures and stuff like that. And he's done quite a few books. I actually was blessed to be able to do 3 books for him. And I had also done, prior to that, some stuff for his Pulp Reality magazine published by his company. But that being said and done, so I'm going to take you to that real quick. So the first thing being is I did the first book that Charles asked me to do was Captain Hawkland and the Ghost Army. Now, unfortunately, it's a cover's reflective, so it has a tendency to have glare on it. So I'm trying to get it so you can see it. But anyway, that's the cover art that I did for that. Captain Hawkland and the Ghost Army. It was a fun cover to do. I enjoyed doing it. It copyrights 2020 by Stormgate Publishing and Charles F. Millhouse. I did all the art work for the cover, designed the cover layout for this, and so it was fun. And that was a first novel cover artwork that I did. So this was my first novel that I did the covers for. And then I was asked to do another book called Captain Hawkland and the Invisible Enemy. And Captain Hawkland and the Invisible Enemy actually was, let's see, came out in 2021. And this is the artwork that I did for that. And as you can see, it's Captain Hawkland down there with the rifle and the bear in the background, and snow, and it was a fun book, and I enjoyed doing it. A lot of my covers are very comic oriented, so I have a tendency to do that. That's the style that I work in, and I can do realistic covers. I can do drag and paste and stuff like that, but I'm not I can do them if that's what they want, but I like to draw, so I do the artwork. But that was fun. Captain Hawkland and the Invisible Enemy. That was basically based in, and now Charles writes on the side of them, and the specific years that they come out. They're not the years that these books were done, but this is like the story from November 1931. And the Captain Hawkland and the Ghost Army was March 1936. So even though this was the first book I did, this book on the covers from the story-wise was from 1931, and then this one was 1936. So it's kind of a cool way, that he does it. Charles is a fantastic author. I love his work. I love his stories. I've read every single book that I've got from him, and I've got quite a few of them. I hope that in the future I will be able to do some more work for him. Right now he's got Jeffrey Hayes, who is another amazing book artist, cover artist, and he does some fantastical work, and Charles seems to be real happy with him at the moment, and I wish him the best of luck to go forward with it, but I really do hope I can do some more work with Charles in the future, only because I like Charles. He's a good friend, and I also enjoy his storytelling and how he does his stories, especially on the Captain Hawkland series. But anyway, so then the last book I did for that one was Captain Hawkland and the Anubis Curse. Now this was fun to do, and I did it, and as you can see, I've got some Captain Hawkland on a rocket launcher. I got Anubis there. I've got a German soldier over here. And then I've got the Sphinx down here, and then a castle over here. So this was like a collage of work, everything brought together. That was the last cover I did for him, and this was for that series as of the moment. So I did that, and it was, let's see. And that came out in 2022. All right, so I apologize, but those are, so you can get these three and all of his books. He's got I think roughly around 10. I think it's 10, might be more. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have them in here, but I did 3, and you can get his entire series on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon.com and type in Captain Hawkland, these will come up. And I've also posted them on links to get these books on my Facebook page. So if you're on my Facebook page, feel free to pop in and get the books. But there's some great books, good, awesome stories and stuff. And then I was actually contacted by let's see, who was it? Trying to remember the name. This book came out in oh gosh, 2023. These were all done by, but they are amazing. Matthew Gomez, who was in and Cameron Mount, who produced the book Broadswords and Blasters, Futures That Never Were. I was asked to do this book, and they wanted a John Carter, Princess of Mars type feel for it, so that's what I did. And here's the cover art that I created for the book. It was a fun piece to do. I enjoyed doing it. It's one of my best covers, I think. I really liked it. It's a lot of stuff going on in it. I did that. So that was those are the novels I have done cover work for. So now moving on from the novels, I have also done cover work for some magazines and comics. So Scott Mullen, I believe is who it was on that, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure that I'm right on my assessment. Yes, Scott Mullen. Scott Mullen approached me to do the cover work for issue 8 of Bronze Knuckles, which I did. I enjoyed doing that as well. He wanted a whole, New Year's type thing to it. Old Lang Die instead of Old Lang I. So he wanted that, and so I got and then I got guys playing it. It was just kind of a group of stuff that I did. Came up with that he had certain things he'd said he wanted to see in it. So that was fun to do. I did that, and that was for his magazine, Bronze Knuckles. So that was my cover work for that. Now I've also done cover work for Yeet, Yeet, Yeet magazine, and Mike Jones. The first cover piece I did was I'm also involved with I helped Seamus Smith, and he runs a League of Enchantment, which is a non-profit organization that dresses as superheroes, and they go to hospitals and stuff like that and help children with cancer and other diseases, childhood diseases and stuff. So they do some fantastic work, and he approached me about doing consider doing a cover for a fundraising thing that they were doing for that. So I did. And that is called Loey the Liger. And this is the cover art that I did for that book. Loey the Liger, and he starts out when he's and he wants to grow up and be like this guy here. And it's got different characters in it. And so the artwork is black and white on the inside, but this is on here you can see some of the stuff they do with the kids, League of Enchantment. It was a really well done book. Yeet and Old Guys Who Like Comics produced the book. There's some of the artwork on the inside. It's a really nice book in the back cover. So, I was happy to be involved with that and do that. with Seamus. And so there you go. And then I got the another piece I did for Yeet. Another piece I did for Yeet, which is Susie Steen. Shane Luttrell does Susie Steen, and he had asked me if I would consider doing some artwork for it, and I said sure. So that's a 2023 book. Uh, so this is the cover that I did designed for that, and this is she's like she travels throughout space, and this is her German Shepherd, her dog that she deals with. And this is a kind of a very realistic looking cover, which I don't really do, but a lot of. But this one felt right, felt right to do, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. This is his character, Shane's character, and there's her dog, and so it's a really great book, produced by produced by Yeet magazine, or comics. They're done through Mike Jones, and you can go to his Patreon, and you can look for Yeet Presents and sign up, and you can actually get these for $5. Every time they do, $5 a pop, and they will send you out the comics. So it's and here's a black and white version, larger version of the cover, that I did. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed doing that. So then that's the comic work there I did. Now I just recently finished this one, and this was done in 2024, and Mike approached me about doing it. And it was for issue 62 of Yeet magazine. And it was based on doing the public domain character Black Fury, and then the White Warrior. And so this is the piece that I did for that. This is Black Fury and then the White Warrior, and they're in a battle. And then it's a great storyline on the inside. I mean, like you got the Black Fury with the helicopter on there, and so on and so forth. So it's artwork there. It's coming in, and it's characters. So, yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff. And then on the back of it, they have another cover artist. Shane Luttrell did some of the artwork on this. And other artists were involved as well. I can't remember who they were, but yeah. So they did a lot of. So this is a great little book. Yeet it's fantastic because he gives Mike and the guys give people that otherwise wouldn't have a chance to get their work published, and stories and stuff like that. But if you really if you really start getting into the book, they have some really good storylines and some great artists involved with some of this stuff, and it's just fun. And that's what comics are supposed to be about. They're supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy reading them. You're supposed to, I'm 60 years old, and I enjoy reading comics. I enjoy drawing the comics. I enjoy doing these things. And you get to go off into these worlds and create characters, or write about characters, or draw characters that you would normally wouldn't, and you bring life to these characters. Like my whole thing with the Hero Maker, excuse me, I say, I create life one line at a time, and that's true. I illustrate when I illustrate a book or illustrate a art piece or whatever. I'm putting life into that two-dimensional artwork, and each line that I draw brings that piece closer and closer to a living entity, and so I mean. Comics for me and drawing and being able to go into these different realms and stuff like that I'm, like I said, I'm 60, so I'm still a kid. I'm 16 in my head. I mean, I still collect Batman toys, as you can see behind me. I guess people like myself and other people in the comic book industry and cosplay and gaming or whatever, we're a different breed of people. We're the geeks. We're the, we do and I was a former correctional officer and a CDL driver, and, this this, that, and the other. But this is our outlet. This is what we do because we enjoy doing it. So anyway, getting off that and getting back to what I was doing. So then, I've also did that. Now this means a lot to me. Untold Stories from Iraq and Afghanistan. It's my first ever publication when I was running my nonprofit that I founded, Heroes Fallen Studios. And the whole purpose and mission behind Heroes Fallen Studios is no longer around now. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep it going because the money just dried up, and it was during a rough patch in the 2000s, and I was going out of my own pocket to try to keep it going, and I just couldn't continue to do it. So I had to let it go, and I did. Unfortunately, I was never able to get it to where I wanted to do, because eventually I wanted Heroes Fallen Studios to help our homeless veterans, because I was homeless for 2.5 years when I was young. And so when I was, homeless and stuff, I was kind of taken in under wing by a Vietnam vet. So for 2 years, I heard about everything that happened with him while he was in Vietnam. And he lost his family when he came back over. His name was Charles. That's all I know. He never gave me a last name. His first name was Charles. He was in Vietnam, and every day we, spoke about it. And he's actually the one that pushed me to get back off the street and go and get a job, which I did and to move forward. But anyway, that being said and done, Untold Stories from Iraq and Afghanistan was my chance to take real life stories from our troops and illustrate them in a comic book format. And now, the whole purpose behind this was to help troops see and understand that, what they were doing and what they went through, that they did the only things they could at the time. And so it was a bit of a PTSD thing that was helping them by talking about what they did and then seeing it in print. I know I had Master Sergeant C.J. Grisham. He started out as a sergeant, then he went to Master Sergeant. C.J. was one of the first, him and Troy Stewart, and they were the first guys that I contacted. And now these guys are combat vets, and the fact that I was able to talk to these guys, which actually blew the DOD away. They were like, how did you, and I never served in the military, but a lot of people think that I did. And I think most of that is due to the fact that Charles told me so much about what happened with him. I'm able to relate to combat vets and other people, even though I wasn't there. But being an artist, my brain opens up to that, so I can visually see what they're talking about while they're talking to me. So I was able to reach a certain area that these guys, and what people don't understand is all you have to do is listen. You don't judge them, and you listen to them, and they'll talk to you. And it was a way of trying to bridge that gap between the combat soldiers and civilian life. And but I also had individuals within the organization that I was using as people that would interview the guys. But most of the people I did interview myself and talk to them. Now, there were some situations where I had some people contact me about certain stories that I didn't think would, unfortunately, would bring issues and problems to what I was trying to do. So I had to, kind of put those on the back burner and say, I can't really do that, because of the legalities and stuff. And the last thing I want is black ops coming to my door. So that being said, so producing Untold Stories from Iraq and Afghanistan was amazing, and being involved with it. And I didn't do a lot of artwork in this. I did one pinup, and that was it. But the rest of the book is done by, I got Jerry Bingham, who's Batman Confidential. Larry Hama wrote the foreword for the book. I approached him, and that took quite a bit of work to get Larry to come on board with it, because he's very particular about what he'll put his name to. But he looked at it, and I sent him some stuff, and he agreed, and he wrote the foreword for it. And I'm greatly, and he has my utmost respect. I love Larry. He's a fantastic guy. Larry Hama is an amazing individual, and I respect him for his military service. And then, Vincent Castro, Jerry Bingham, he did this story about the Korengal Valley ambush. That was amazing, and he did that, illustrated it. Then you got P. Craig Russell did some amazing, still pieces of art in the book. This book was my. We had somebody to come in and they financed the printing cost for it, and it's just even though the organization is not still together, this was probably one of the I'm most proud of is producing this, because this was the first time this had ever been done in the way that I did it. Now, since then, it's been copied and done and redone, but no one had ever attempted to do this the way I did it when I put this book out. And this book was actually done in, let's see, I think this book, I think I did it in, I don't have the publication date. Yeah, I don't have the publication date on it. I think it was in 2006. So that's when this book was put forth. So, it's a great deal. This means a lot to me. And all the artists that were involved in it, I mean, I even got Al Bigley's signature on this book because he did some artwork in here. So, all the people that were involved with it and the things that they did and the artists that came forward and the writers that came forward. Valerie Finnegan was my writer. She did the writing and took that on. She did a fantastic job doing her job. I really, this book means a lot. So, all right. So now we're going to move from that to a couple other things I did. This is the cover for Comic Club newsletter, issue 41, issue 141. I did the cover for this, and Mike had asked me about doing this, and I was like, okay, yeah, no problem, I can do that for you. And so it was fun to do. I enjoyed doing it. Mike Mitchell, he asked me to do it, and I put it together, and it turned out pretty good. And then the precursor to it was 41. Now, I didn't do the cover for this one, but I did do the interior back, which was a pencil drawing of the original Shadow cover. And I did that in 2020. So yeah, it's so those are some cover and then some interiors. Then I've got Who's Who in New Pulp. Now I'm not. This book is produced by Airship 27 Productions. It's Who's Who in the New Pulp, the 222 writers, artists, editors, and publishers who together are the internal pulps. Since the days of honor, people have naturally loved a good story, from oral traditions of heroics, sagas all the way to traveling minstrels in the Middle Ages and the penny dreadfuls and the dime novels. So I mean, it's great. But this basically goes through and it shows and showcases artists and writers and everybody that was involved, all the new pulp artists and writers and stuff like that. And then I actually am in this book, which they got my birthday wrong. They got me July 4th, 1964, which is incorrect. I was born April 7th, 1964. But that's okay. But that's me right there. So I'm honored to actually be in the pages of this book. That means a lot to me. So now we're going to go into some interiors that I've done. Some other interiors. So I've done this is going back to Captain Hawkins. Charles F. Milhouse, the author, for his Pulp Reality magazine. Now this is an oversized edition. If you look at it, it's much larger than a normal comic. So if I take the comic or a graphic novel and I put that up to it, as you can see, it's a lot larger. So these were fun to do. But I did the interiors for issue 1. I did some of the interior artwork on there, along with other artists as well. I'm not the only one, but that's some of the artwork that I did on those 2 pages. And then I did this piece here as well. And these were basically pieces that, and a lot of the artwork that I did the cover art, I did the artwork for Bobby Nash, who's another one of my favorite authors. He's fantastic. He does Snow and several other books in Lance Starr. He's got some amazing books out there. I've got a few of them, and I've read them, and they are just absolutely go to punch, get you into the realm of things. I mean, but yeah, I did this piece here as well. And this was that piece right there. I did that. Did the artwork for that. And then that's Zane Carrington, another character in the new pulp. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, I did some interior work there. And then this one here is another one I did. I was asked by Charles to do the cover for this, which I absolutely love doing. And this is comic style, but it's kind of close to reality as well. This actually won me the 2022 New Pulp Pulp Factory Award for Best Cover in 2022. So I was very happy to do that. I also did some of the artwork in it as well. I did the story. Let's see if I can find it. More toward the front. Yeah, I did the story. Bobby Nash wrote the story, and I did the artwork for that right there. And then it's got the cover from Captain Hogwarts. So yeah, I mean, it was good. So but this won me the award, and actually, this is the award that I won for it, and it says Pulp Factory Awards 2022 Best Cover Art for Pulp Reality 2 by Clayton Merwin. And as you can see, there it is. And I cherish this. I love it. So I am an award-winning artist. So even though I've only won one, but hey, one is better than none. But yeah, so, and then I did the cover, not cover. I did some of the interior work for 3 of Pulp Reality. This one, I think I did a comic story, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yes, I did a comic book story, and it was also done by Bobby Nash. And so basically it starts out, and this is like a little mini comic within the book. I did the artwork for that. I did the pencils. Who was it that did? Let me get that straight. I did the pencils were by me. The inks were by Jeff Austin, and it was lettered by Charles Davenport. Freelancer was written by Bobby Nash. And that's what this is called. It's called The Freelancer. So that was a good, fun piece to do. I enjoyed doing it. And then last but not least, I've got Pulp Reality number 4. Now, this is the new cover artist that Charles has working with him. And I got to give it to him. Jeffrey Hayes is an amazing cover artist. He does a realistic look for a lot of his stuff. It's completely different than the style that I do. But I do hope to someday be able to go back and do some work with Charles again. But right now I think he's happy with Jeff. And who can blame him? He does some amazing work. But he did the cover art for this. But anyway, that being said and done, I just wanted to give him a little bit of a heads up there. But I did this. That was the artwork I did for this. On the interior of this. I was having some major issues at this time, so a lot of my stuff that I was doing several pieces for, unfortunately, were dropping. Now I'm going to bring you to the last portion of what we got going on, and the last portion of it is Lance Starr and The Eye of Dawn. Now these are two novels that were produced by Airship 27 Productions, Ron Fortier and Rob Davis, and they. The first one is the one I did first, was the interior illustrations for Eye of Dawn, and then Ted Hammond did the cover work for this. I did not do the cover, but I did the illustrations for the interior. This was done in these in 2020, and the author was Bradley H. Senior. And so you can get these on Amazon. Everything I have shown you here today, you can get on Amazon. So if you're interested and you want to go, you can get it on Amazon. All right. So, but just to give you ideas of some of the work that I've done here. Here's some of the cover art. I mean, I did 9 illustrations in here. I'm just going to show you a couple of them, and but they were fun to do. I enjoyed doing them. I did that one. That was a fun piece to do right there. And then he's holding a photograph there, and so it's just fun. And so I did that, and that was from Bradley Senior. And then my most recent, I just finished this artwork in this, and this just got published this past week. Is Lance Starr, Sky Ranger, and the story Cold Snap, with an amazing cover by Rob Davis. I was actually going to do the cover for this, and I initially put forth the cover. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish it, and so Rob took over the cover work and completed it. I had my shoulder surgery, and so I actually was not able to get the 10th illustration for the book because of that. They had to use a photo, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the book was done. What was done for it, and it's fun. I did the interior illustrations for this, and these are really detailed illustrations. It took me a lot of time to do them because I was working full time, and then also, just really show you. I mean, I put a lot of effort into those illustrations. And if you look at these, I mean, you can see that my artwork has completely changed and progressed further. So anyway, well, that's pretty much it. That's it, people. It's over. It's done. Aren't you happy? Aren't you glad? But anyway, so that's my artwork that I have done over the years, and I hope you all enjoyed seeing it. And like I said, if you want to get any of that stuff, you can go to Amazon.com and order your copies of it. If you reach out to me and you're interested in getting a signed portrait from me, send me the book and so on and so forth, and I'll sign it for you and send it back to you. And so on and so forth. So, again, I hope you all have a wonderful, joyous, happy holiday season. All the best to you. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate. Take care. Be good to one another. Do something nice for someone. And remember, we can only be as good as we can be. You can't ask for any more. All we got to do is love one another. All right? You guys take care, and I'll talk to you later. Hero Maker is